doing these before, but got to knock out a couple for me, a couple for someone else. The ones for me will be, actually we'll start with the bigger ones. Some green drake, bigger drakes, 12s, 14s, and those will be for someone else. And then for me, it will be smaller olives and PMDs. Yes, those will be the Mayflies. We're on the last legs of this thread. We're stock up on thread. Go ahead, thread this. Try to keep them simple, a little bit of dubbing. Oh man. All right, go ahead and get our thread base going. Tail, we'll do CDL like we usually do for our Mayflies. Where's our, guess we'll do a new CDL feather. I want to figure out a way to use some of this softer CDL fiber, but the hackles are so good for tails. Some people tie other CDL like caddis, and I don't know if it's the best for that, but 3 of these as tailing material can't be beat, in my opinion. The color can be used in a variety of different mayfly species, slender. The only issue though is durability. They do break. We'll do dubbing. We wanted to do an olive, so we'll do kind of olive color. Synthetic. Measure it out. It's pretty heavy. I think that's more than we need. Come back toward the tail. Ooh, we caught the hook point, not good. Wrap the body. Slight taper would be nice. Go ahead, wrap it pretty far up. We'll tie the wing pretty far up. The wing can be pointed forward, wing can be pointed back. That's your call. I'm going to use this Calabatus one for the wing. It'll be a done upright wing. Good wing feather. This is a really good wing feather. This is a good wing feather because the base of the feather fibers are as long as the tip, so they can be folded and incorporated into the tip of the wing, which is quite nice. Gives it a nice full look. We'll draw it back, measure out the length. Length should be slightly shorter than the body. Couple wraps in front, couple wraps behind, and then we can use this stem as another wing for a different fly. Hackle, we'll do natural Natural color for our hackle. Here's our bag of natural. We had a nice natural feather the other day. We found it on our desk, but ooh, that's a good one. And then let's see what we're working with. I would say we need half. You could do 4 flies with this one feather, and then you'd have the tip left over for like a midge wing. So let's just do the base section. We're gonna clip a half of it. This will be more than enough. Trim it out, save it. We'll go ahead, split our thread, which is lying very flat, too flat actually. And then insert our material, spin it up. And a preen a little bit. Start wrapping. One of our wing fibers is down. Wrapping in the front, 1, 2, wrapping behind rather, coming in front, 1 and 2. And that's a good distribution. We'll let our thread unwind. Then we'll knock off some of these longs. Just make it a little bit more organized, keeping some long ones. I think that's good. That's good. And then we'll whip it. And that's a nice drake done. Very simple. Simple profile. And clip it. And let's tie a few. This is on a 12. So this is about as big as I would go for a CDC dry. Let's do a couple smaller ones. Okay. Our hook is a little bit angled up. That's not good. And get our CDL feather. 3 fibers from our feather. There's 3. Carefully trim those out. And then we'll place them, measure them, and place them. When I'm placing the tail fibers, I angle them on the side and they almost always roll over to the top. But it's a gamble. Trying to place them on top and then tying them in is a little bit tricky. So if you angle it to the side, usually you can get it to roll over. Not all the time. We'll try to be a little bit more judicious with the abdomen this time. work the thread back to our tail. Dub the body, dub it up. Okay. We have the spare feather we used for our previous wing. We're going to tie that in. Loose wrap. Got to position it up top and then draw it in. That's too short. We got to redo. Loose wrap. And then draw it a touch. A little bit more. That's good. Couple wraps in front. And then trim it out. I think the front is pretty sparse, so if you're gonna make any cut, it would be an angled cut back. And that would be our wing. If you had more material, you could do a slight cut in front as well. But just one angled cut back will be enough. We're gonna use the second half of our CDC feather, the shorter fibers toward the tip. Clip it, trim it out. Split our thread. Spin it up. That's good. Preen a little bit. Work behind. And then come back in front. And we'll let our thread unravel. Oops. I'll let our thread unravel. We don't need to do much trimming here for our legs. Everything looks pretty good. We're trapping some of the leg material in our whip finish. Pull it out. The wing is not the cleanest, but if you look on the underside, the silhouette is fine. So that's all that matters. One more. No, let's do something else. We'll do more traditional dry fly. I'm trying to think what the body material should be. We could do the CDC for the body. This will not be a more traditional dry fly. This would be similar if we're just gonna change the body. No, we could change the wing. We'll do CDC body and then a hackled, some kind of hackle for the wing. So here's a bigger feather. We'll use this for our body. And then we can use the same material for the tail, the CDL. The hardest part is getting just 3 of these. I think that's 2. Yeah, that's just 2. Which we'll have to do. That is too long. I'm changed my mind again. Because the tail is so sparse, the CDC wrap for the body is pretty bulky. I want something a little bit slimmer. So maybe a biot. Biot would be good. This is just goose. And I'm gonna take, and I'm gonna just draw it back. Drawing it back gives you a little bit more to work with, which I find helpful. Then we'll tie this in tip first. We'll need some hackle pliers. And we'll go ahead and wrap our biot, spacing it well. You don't have to wrap it right on top of itself. You got a nice segmentation. And the color, I don't know the color, what we're representing exactly here. Mahogany done or something like that. We'll clip it out. Then we'll reposition back. We'll use some mallard for the wing. We've been using this mallard feather. The tips aren't great, but it'll do. Try to even that out a little bit. It's hard working with the mallard. We're gonna tie that in tip first. And draw it back just a touch. That's good. Tight wrap. And then in front. Tight wrap. And trim out our excess. Now we need a split. So we'll go ahead and divide our material. We'll do one wrap in the middle, come around, one wrap in the middle. Well, where did we go? And that gives us a little V shape. Then for our hackle, we can blend the darker with the lighter. We could just wrap like a grizzly hackle on this, but yeah, maybe we do that. Keep it simple. I don't know what we're doing here. And go ahead and wrap our hackle. 1, 2, 3. Let's get 2 in front. 1. Getting a little wonky. 2. That's really not. It's looking weird. Yeah, we're not going to do that. So the slim, we went with the biop for the slimness. And now the hackle, I think, is detracting from that. So I'm gonna take the hackle out. What can we do? I think something darker. And then mix it with light, something lighter. So this is a nice color. This is a Betis color. And then we had the one feather we were working with. We lost it. That's okay, we can start another one. So I'm going to layer these two. One is a lighter, thinner, one is a darker, fuller. And then we just layered them on top of each other, so we'll clip 2 in 1. That's a lot of material. Trim that out. Collect our feathers. Split our thread. Insert. Spin it up. There's some trash on here. Spin it up. Come in front. I'm not 100% satisfied. The split, the V split, we shouldn't have done that. We should have kept it a solid post. So we made a mistake. Unnecessary splittage. But it'll work. It'll work. Interesting concept. What else can we do here? I'm thinking, what am I thinking? Could do a little cripple. That could be good. Just a little variation. The cripple doesn't need the long, thin tail fiber, so you don't need to use the CDL. But we do have to match our color a little bit. So feather. Yeah, we could use the mallard. Why not? It's a little bit darker mallard. And we don't need a ton. I think that's about 5 or 6. 5, no, less, 4. And then we can time in shorter. A little bit shorter. And we can do the biot again for the body. That'll work. Hackle pliers. Wrap our body. A little drop of super glue would make the body stronger too. If you wanted to, you could layer it under the biot if you were so inclined. That's good. Trim that out. So we'll do a hair wing, and then we'll do a hackle. Chicken hackle. A little bit darker hair for the wing. Clean it up. Pull out those shorts and under fur. And then we need to stack it a little bit. There's still some under fur in there. That's good. knock out those shorts, and then I'm going to trim it to make it more manageable. We could do a tilt wing if we wanted to do a dun, or we could do a forward facing wing if we wanted to do a cripple. If we did the tilt, we would need to wrap our hackle first. So let's table this. No, let's just tie the cripple and then we can tie the dun next. How about that? One of these is too long. Okay, so I'm gonna cord up my thread, measure out the wing, a little bit tight, tight, tight. I'm gonna advance in front. A little thread bump. Come back behind. Then trim out those butts. We're gonna do a hackle right there. Doesn't need to be super heavily hackled. Maybe better. Actually, it depends on how you wanted it to ride. If you wanted to ride high, you would do more. If you wanted to ride low, you would do less. It's all up to you. I think 2 turns is enough. I'm gonna try to finish the trap the hackle toward the eye of the hook. I've got some of our wing in there. Which is okay. Not the end of the world. I'll whip it. We got a lot of cleaning up to do. I'm getting crowded toward the eye, so I'm just gonna do one whip and then drop some head cement. Clean it up. A few strays. Some people like to have a little of the wing kind of tagging out as like a wing case or something, but that's enough. I think we can do one more. We'll try to do that done with the body. We really should change this thread color. I'm gonna go to a dark brown uni. It's not super strong, so we're gonna have to be careful with the hair. This is an old school thread. With the new threads, the GSPs, and you can really crank down. This is the old traditional. Get our tail working. This is going to be done, so we can go back to that CDL. We got 4. Tie it in nice and long. It's probably too long. It's okay. And we do our biot. Pull one off the back. Tip first. And tie it all the way back. Hackle pliers. Wrap your biot. One more wrap. Go ahead and trap. And finish. Okay. Now, hackle first, then wing. Do this brown hackle. Might be a little bit long, but I think it'll play. You need space up front for the wing, but I'm trying to get the hackle wraps consecutive, so the first behind the next, and I'm having a little bit of trouble. And that's enough. You could risk it and throw in a third wrap, but I think it's gonna start pushing up toward the eye too much. And then I'm gonna advance the thread right behind where that hackle was. Get our hair. Trim out a section, clean it up, pull the shorts and the underfur. I'm gonna chop the butts first before I start stacking. It'll help get a cleaner stack. Stack our wing. Clean it up a little bit more. Measure our wing. Okay, now, nice and tight. 1, 2. You don't want a lot of thread buildup there. So that's, I think, 2 or 3 tight wraps, tight wraps. Coming back. And then we trim this out. That's a bad trim. Let's tie off before we do any more trimming. I don't really know the best way to trim this, so I'm just working around. I mean, that looks good to me. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right, let us review the day's accomplishments. We only had one messed up one. Hi, how was your day? I'm doing good. Jesus Alvarez, what's up? Garrett, the fishing and dirt bike kid. How many seconds does it take to make a fly lure as quickly as possible? I think a good person can do it in it depends on the pattern, but like commercial tires, I'm sure, are much faster than I am. I'm actually quite a slow tire, a very slow tire. We started with our CDC Mayfly with the CDC tip wing, lightly hackled, dubbed body. The body is too heavy, but that's okay. Then we did another CDC Mayfly using the base of the hackle tip and CDL for the tail. Those didn't turn out great. They will still work fine, and those will probably end up in my box. Then we did another dun. We used turkey biot for the abdomen, and then mallard flank for the wing. We split the wing in a V, which I don't think we should have done. And then we hackled it with the CDC. Then we did a cripple, which is an emerging mayfly. So it's a little bit different. Our wing is pointing forward, lightly hackled in the back, mallard flank for the tail, goose buyout for the abdomen, and then we finished with a hair wing done, which we have CDL for the tail, buyout for the abdomen, hackle wrapped behind a tilt wing. I think that wing is elk hair. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's elk hair, actually, a darker elk. So everything here will work. Everything here will work. But it was a little bit confusing. Little bit confusing day. All right, finished. Be well, and I'll catch you next time.